travel through the African bush. We are here in Djuma Private Game Reserve, which just sits on the western fringes of the Kruger National Park, and we have actually started with a bang. It's not the best visual, but we do have two southern ground hornbills up there. A new species for my list. If you don't know what I'm speaking about, don't worry, I'm going to explain it to you in just a moment. But first, good morning. My name is Lauren, and I have Uncle Owen on camera. Sir Owen, he prefers to be called. But we are going to go forward to try and get a better view. For the past few days, we have been celebrating World Ranger Day by having all the guides, because it's not just me out today, competing and see who can find the highest number of species. Any animal. Not in the plant kingdom, but as long as it's in the animal kingdom. So this is a new one for my list. And when I say it's not just me, it's... Sorry. Shall I go forward, Owen? I don't want them to fly away, that's the thing. We have Cedric, the other half of my team in Djuma. Owen needs to wipe the lens because, oh, there's one on the ground, my goodness, because it is so cold here. And we have Trishala over in Madikwe. We have Ralph and Amakala and Liam in Pridelands. So there's a whole team of us here to give you the most wonderful safari and compete. But the thing is, today's going to be the hardest day because we've gone through most of the common species. Everyone's done the hornbills and the starlings and the impalas. Now it becomes a little bit trickier. But I'm very glad we got these guys. What a great start. And just a reminder, this is completely live. You see everything as it happens. And it's interactive. Please do talk to us. We really want to hear from you. Discussions, ideas, IDs, questions, comments, just head over to the website. And as long as you've registered, you'll be able to submit your questions there. This is such a great start. I was thinking about these birds yesterday and I thought, how wonderful would it be if I could get them on my list? Oh, they are just beautiful birds. Catherine! Yes, Team Lauren for the win. Team Libra here, although yesterday was also Libra. We're all Libras. I don't actually know what star sign Cedric is. I'll need to ask him. But Team Libra for the win, absolutely. I've got Sir Owen on the back, who's also very into this. So I think we're going to have a really wonderful morning of sightings. And on top of that, Catherine, I will go to the den. We got the briefest visual of the cub yesterday, but by the time we went live, we just didn't quite make it live. Which is a little bit unfortunate, but that's the nature of the game when you're trying to get cubs. Of course, they're going to come out more and more ever so slowly. Birds. And you know, when you see them in flight, it's actually remarkable how large they are. Whitney, you're always happy to start your morning in the bush. That was a little hop there. Well, you've come to the right place, Whitney. We're going to be in the bush all morning for the next 3 hours. But I do just want to show you something lovely on that side, Owen. We do have the great ball of gas, which is slowly revealing itself over the horizon there. The sun is finally coming up, which means it really is the start of the sunrise bumble. Isn't that beautiful? Sometimes it's nice to just take it in for a moment. I think Owen and I are just going to sit and appreciate the sunrise, but let's take a look at the weather across all our locations.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Cedric, and behind the camera with me on Rusty, we've got Gert, and yes, we've got wild dog tracks here on this Power Lines roads, going back and forth, going all over. Some going this side, some going back that way. But it is a beautiful morning. I'm just going to stop here quickly. There's a beautiful sunrise that's happening. It's a very chilly morning. I look very strange with this thing around my head, but look at that sun. Isn't that beautiful? But yes, these wild dog tracks have come onto the main access road towards our camp and back again, so all over the show here. So I'm just going to try and listen out a little bit while we enjoy this beautiful sunrise. Sometimes I always feel that early in the morning when you sit on a crest like this, it's always a good thing to listen out. Jenna, yes, wild dog tracks. I think it is going to be a wild morning because we need to get going very soon, because you know, wild dogs, they're not going to stay just at one spot. They move very quickly. So I'm hoping that I'm just going to, while we enjoy that sunrise, I'm just going to step out quickly. I just want to look the direction here. Yeah, someone's going back, someone's going all over the show. I think let's go. Yeah, sorry, I'm just gonna go. The wild dog tracks are all over the show. It's beautiful, the sunrise. I love the sun rising, but let's go. Tristan, when last did we have wild dogs on Juma? No idea, Tristan. I can't remember. Was it last week?
Yeah, but they just crossed.
Oh, last week. Oh, they just crossed out. Okay, so last week, Tristan. So I haven't seen wild dogs since I've been back, so I couldn't answer that one. But it looks like last week. Alright. I think let's do Zoe's. I think Zoe's this area. All on the road here. It is nice and fresh. So most of them are going that way. Yeah, let's go around this side. Yo. Okay, let's go. Let's go. I'm just going to keep our eyes open, but as I say, following up on wild dogs sometimes can be very tricky, as they do move very far and very quickly. So yes, but anyway, while we're going to try and follow up and see if we can find any other fresh tracks, let's head over to Trishana in Madikwe. She wants to say good morning to everybody.
Those wild dog tracks sound like the air this morning at Madikwe. Very, very fresh. Hi everyone, it's me, Trishana. I've got Lloyd on camera. We have a bit of a rolling start this morning. Mostly because I want to get to an area where we saw a pair of jackals about 2 evenings ago. And this would be a good time, if that is an area maybe perhaps where they're denning or something like this. That would be a good time to... Oh, this would be a good time to go and investigate. See, it's coming up nice and bright now. It's beautiful. It's probably about 1, possibly 0. But I think we're mentally prepared this time round as opposed to yesterday. So we're not going to do too much driving just because of the wind chill, and that's also why I'm driving pretty slow. It's always a good thing though in the reserve, because that way you can catch little bits, smaller things maybe, that we don't often see because we drive past. So taking it slow, and seeing what Madikwe has to offer this morning. What do you feel like seeing at Madikwe today? We tried with the brown hyenas last night again, but unfortunately the signal's not great there. Oh, hi Jeffrey. You'd like to know if we sometimes follow jackals to lead us to a carcass? Not really. Hyenas, definitely. Jackals, not as much. Jackals really don't like to be followed. I mean, hyenas don't like to be followed either, but when a hyena has their nose to the ground and is interested in finding a carcass and has a trail, doesn't really care about anything else. A jackal, on the other hand, jackals will weave in and out, and they don't enjoy being followed very much. I mean, it's possible to follow a jackal to a carcass, but if we're talking just about the power of their noses, then hyenas win, hands down. So hyenas are more of a sure thing when it comes to trying to find a different predator and using them to lead you to the predator. Jackals, not so much. I've definitely seen them arrive at carcasses. I've arrived at carcasses where jackals are, but I haven't used them really. I haven't used them as in like a pathway or something that I could follow. Oh, we have some impala. Let's say good morning to these impala. Just pop it. Oh, the bush is so quiet. I love it when we put the vehicle off. Lloyd is just very quickly going to wipe the lens for us so you can have a nice clear view. There he goes. You almost saw the man. Keeps teasing you. And there we have it. Some impala. We saw quite a large herd a little bit earlier before we actually started the sunrise safari. Hi Kabuki, you say you're hoping for some of those small Madikwe things this morning? I've also been really looking out for like little insects and stuff like that, because you know how much I love it. I've been looking for spiders. But I guess things are really dry and really cold, and the majority of, at least, insects will spend this time, this extreme cold or dryness, the winter period, will spend this time either as a larva or an egg, something like that, and so we don't get to see them as much.
Do you love relaxing at a waterhole with the sights and sounds of Africa all around you? Well, we have some really exciting news for you. From August 1st, Africam is joining forces with WildEarth to bring the majesty of Africa right into your living room with 9 incredible new waterhole cameras from across South Africa and Kenya. Get ready to embark on a new journey. This is Live at the Waterhole.
in the morning is honestly just crucial. You really don't want to waste it, because I have a funny feeling, although we're complaining about the cold right now, it will get warm. It's going to be a warm day. The sun's going to pop out and it's going to almost feel like summer. Or spring at least. And this is when animals are going to be moving. And I've got to obviously add lots of animals to my list. I was going to say our list, but Owen's been on both vehicles. Should I trust him? Should I trust you, Owen?
I was working with the enemy yesterday.
He said he was working with the enemy yesterday. He was. There you go. So I don't trust him. I think I'll need to put my gloves back on. Oh my goodness. My fingers are about to fall off. And we don't want that.
Good morning to one and all, and a very warm hello from the slightly chilly team here on the Pridelands property. Eco Training's land just outside the town of Hoedspruit. What a pleasure it is to be coming to you this morning. My name is Liam Burrow. I'm the naturalist in the driver's seat, man behind the lens, the slightly frosty BK Uhuru. And we're kicking off our morning with a couple of zebras just off in the distance a bit. They're a little skittish, so we didn't want to pressure them too much with the car. They keep running away, but we may maneuver just around the corner to get a slightly better view in a moment. We're kicking off our morning up in the north of the concession this morning. I think we're going to attempt to check our northernmost boundary, which is where that Ezulwini bull disappeared north into the Jijani property 2 or 3 drives ago. We had a massive breeding herd of elephants up that way yesterday afternoon, so I'm hopeful that maybe with all the noise they were making, he may have heard that and turned back towards us. That's the theory anyway. Let's see how it goes. What do you reckon, BK? Maybe let's pull round that corner a little bit. Hopefully our zebs don't run away. Let's give it a bash. Thanks, Gio. Yeah, zebra stripes certainly are pretty striking. There's nothing quite like them out in the bush. Yeah, when everything else seems to be trying to camouflage and hide away, the zebra is just such a striking, vivid thing. I think it's one of the reasons they're so popular with people on safari. We'll come in really slowly, hopefully they don't run away. Isn't that nice? Morning, zebs. Just a small herd, a small dazzle. 1 stallion, 2 mares, and it looks like about a yearling foal. The foal is the one that's sort of most hidden away, the one having a wee there. And the one in the center there with a lovely round belly, I'm sure that mare is pregnant. The foals are born as the perfect miniatures of the adults. And quite precocial, so able to basically stand up and run around within about 10 or 15 minutes of arriving in this world. Pretty magical. Ultimately, they've got to basically hit the ground running because there are so many predators out there that would eat them. Anyway, as BK and I enjoy these golden scenes and these stripy zebra this morning, let's check in with Lauren in the Sabi Sand to see what she's doing.
I did have a new species. Wasn't quick enough, I'm afraid. I don't know if we're going to be able to show you them. We had some green wood hoopoes. Are they gone? They're still there, okay. Gone or gone. You know, there's a difference. South Africans like to say now and now and just now and all of these different versions of now. So we have gone and gone. Oh, and this is going to be tricky. I can see them 12 o'clock though. We might just get this. Go down. Yep. There they are. There you go. Yay! Green wood hoopoes. Well done, Owen. I love these birds, but my goodness, they're difficult to get on camera. Very noisy birds. Is that a yellow-billed hornbill? Yes, it is. That's also not on my list. Over here, Owen. Okay, that's a little bit obscured. I think I can get closer to this one. Oh, you can see the yellow. I've got a really good view. Let me go forward. I've got a red bill on my list, but I didn't have a yellow bill. How's that? Not bad on the bird in front this morning. Oh, it's gone. We're definitely not going to get any insects this morning, I don't think. I can try, but I don't think it's going to happen. It's way too cold. But in the afternoon, I'm going to focus more on insects again. No way, a woodpecker! I haven't been so lucky with woodpeckers recently. It's got a red head, that's for sure. Is it the cardinal? It's looking like it. No, bearded, sorry. Male bearded. Which is great news, but I do already have that one. I need the Bennets. But yesterday I had the female bearded and today we got the male. What a cool morning. It's right there, Owen. I wonder if we can get some new views of it. The beautiful birds. Sarah, I will be on your team. Let me tell you why. Because my middle name is Sarah. Lauren Sarah Arthur. So great name. I'm channeling all the animals out here. I tried really hard to focus on insects yesterday just to explore the diversity. It's not just about the mammals or the birds. Birds are an easy one. Awesome woodpecker sighting, but it wasn't a new species, I'm afraid. Alrighty, Owen, what's next? What is next? I need some mammals. I need rhino, giraffe, buffalo. We did actually have the buffalo yesterday, but we didn't go live. So I need a leopard. That's true. I need a leopard. That would be jolly good. But we're going to continue. This is a really good time for birding. They're starting to get active. The sun's out. I'm going to pretend Owen just did. Hoopoo! African hoopoo, this is another species. Amazing. Go, Owen, go. Amazing. African hoopoo. So we just showed you the green wood hoopoo, and now this is the African hoopoo. So very different, but it's a new species for our list.
Hi, my name is Claire. WildEarth has been part of this home for many years as it connects us to the bush and the culture that we love and miss so much. I became an explorer so that other people around the world can get to experience the African bush in this unique way as well. I am beyond excited that I was drawn to win the prize at Ambakala Game Reserve for 3 nights. It is truly a dream come true.
Sign up today and you could be the one experiencing it for yourself.
Oh, look at this. We've got a little tree squirrel. He's getting so cold. It's all fluffed up. Oh, I think he's just keeping nice and warm on this chilly morning. And there's another one that's calling, but it's a little bit in the thickets. Here's another squirrel somewhere. There's another one. I don't know what this one. He's alarm calling at something. He's looking down. He's not happy about something. So I'm trying to see exactly why this little squirrel is upset for the morning. Maybe he just didn't have a cup of coffee. Oh yes, and it is another species on my list. Hey, another one. Alright, so those wild dog tracks have gone straight south. I was following on wild dog tracks. They went straight south into Hofmans. So apparently they've got the tracks on Rethusa. So yeah, they're off our property. Oh, look at that other one. As an update, of course, I'm sure some of you heard, Shadulu and Cub has been seen again, so they are very much doing quite well. So nice to know about that. Of course, that's that female leopard and a youngster. Oh, this one is so cute, still small. And they usually stay in those hollowed out trees. We'll call it a little dray. Catherine, here's a very frosted squirrel. I don't have a beanie, so the frosted squirrel will just have to sit there and wait for that sun to come up and start warming up a little bit. Then it's going to be much happier. But for now, I'm sure it's happy. It's just relaxing. I think that little hollowed out area just below that squirrel that's like on the side there, I'm sure that's a little dray. Maybe that's a little safety net. If anything does come here, any predators or anything like that, so they'll just run into that little hollowed out section. Alright, well, we are going to just look around this area. We were close to Treehouse Dam. Let's head over to Liam with his elephants.
Superb. Well, in true Pridelands fashion, we've got a little breeding herd of elephants. Yeah, there was a whole bunch of elephant activity up here in the north of the property yesterday. A kind of amalgamation of 3 or 4 different herds, probably amounting to maybe 70 or 80 ellies in total. The tracks look like they crossed out to the north into Jajani, a property where we don't drive. But apparently there's still a few around on our side. BK trying to frame up there on a little calf that was just having a drink of mum's milk. An elephant calf will drink something like 9 litres of mum's rich milk every single day. Obviously putting quite a large strain on the adult female's body. So she's really got to try and eat enough quality vegetation at this time of the year, which is no small order, in order to produce all of that milk. But she's obviously doing well. A very happy, healthy looking calf. And proving that young elephants learn basically everything they need from their mum. Ollie, certainly there is. And the elephants here seem to absolutely love feeding on the knobthorn trees. There's one actually just to kind of the left of these ellies with the bark totally stripped off. Yeah, there we go. Thanks, BK. Yeah, you can see how the elephants have basically ripped into this tree's body. Unfortunately, almost certainly a death sentence for this young knobthorn. But they are very, very nutrient rich, so the ellies love them. They don't only feed on knobthorns though. Marula is another very, very popular one. And then they browse on a number of smaller acacias, raisin bushes, corkwoods, fig trees. Variety is the spice of life. Tucking into what I think is a scented pod acacia, that small sort of white thorn, shrubby type thing. Also very, very high in naturally occurring nitrogen. Aaron, they definitely do. If you take a bit of a closer look at trees, especially trees where the bark has been stripped, you can occasionally find tusk chips, basically just the very, very tip of the tusk left behind embedded in the tree. Doesn't happen all the time, but I have seen it once or twice. Ultimately, this vegetation is very, very hard on their teeth and tusks. It's one of the biggest factors that will determine how long an elephant lives. They go through 6 sets of molar teeth, of which they only have 4 actual teeth in their mouth other than the tusks. So 6 sets in their life, each set lasting roughly 10 years, possibly a little bit less. And ultimately, when that final set is polished sort of mirror smooth, that elephant will be struggling to process vegetation. and it'll gradually go downhill. It's unlikely to starve to death, but a bit like elderly people, very, very elderly people, their immune systems are sort of worn down, and small illnesses that a normal healthy adult would be able to fight off under normal circumstances will probably kill them. Sad, but if you think the elephant has probably already lived 50 or 60 years, that's a victory. It's won at life. These ellies kind of moving deeper into the thicket. We're probably not going to follow them in there. And Mabel, they definitely do. Look, that tree is not going to drop dead sort of in the next month. It might take another 2 or 3 years for it to properly die and ultimately fall over. But when it lands on the ground, the termites will have it. So the elephant is an integral part in the function of this whole system, in returning those nutrients to the decomposers and to the soil. Sure, there's lots of birds around as well. Yeah, as I say, we're not going to be following these ellies into this block. It is very, very thick, and they're feeding quite peacefully away from us. I think it would be unwise to just go crunching in there after them.
We love all the support, we read all the comments, and now we want to acknowledge our biggest fans. Do you know when Ribbon was seen last? Or the names of June's cubs? Do you remember the last time we were up close and personal with an elephant? If you answered yes to any of these questions, then you are in for a treat. WildEarth's Fan of the Month. We are looking for you. For more details, make sure to read our monthly mailer and keep an eye out on our social media pages. WildEarth, it's in your nature.
Well, as you know, WildEarth's mission is to bring nature to your screen, to the world. And if you want to help our mission, please go onto the WildEarth website. It's wildearth.tv. Let's go on the donate page or button to get more information. Alright, my plan from here, I might head back to the southern side on Gurry Main, and that means the southern side of Djuma. I'll just head towards Zoe's Junction again, just double check on those male leopard tracks. I think I want to see if we can locate on that big boy. I'm sure it was tortoise pan that came down there.
So BK and I have left our elephants, feeding off into the west there. We're bumbling now in the direction of the Leopard Dam, one of the only real permanent sources of water in this section. Yeah, let's see what's happening around there. It's perhaps a little bit too early in the day for much of the wildlife to be drinking, but that's not to say there aren't perhaps some animals slowly moving down into that area. Probably elephants, to be honest with you. It doesn't really ever stop for the ellies. They do a lot of feeding, obviously, as we've seen during the day, but they often move throughout the night as well. Yeah, I'd say more than likely elephants. So it is still frosty here in Pridelands. I believe a bit of a cold front is on the way. But thankfully that'll bring with it some clouds, so that should help to stabilize the temperature. These mornings have been icy. BK and I are both wearing multiple jackets, multiple pairs of pants, gloves, and of course well prepared with flasks of scalding hot coffee. Artificial personality, would you believe? Shiro, 55 to about 65 years, again all depending on the quality and longevity of their teeth. Yeah, bulls tend to live a little bit longer, the higher end of the scale. Cows obviously having to give birth to babies almost endlessly throughout their lives, have a lot more sort of physical strain put on their bodies. They tend to live about 10 years less than the males, generally. Cool. Well, as we continue to bumble in search of life this morning, let's check back in with Lauren.
I'm actually on my bubble. Slowly but surely. I feel like this is the perfect time in the morning to kind of loop around the property. We've checked our own areas, and now it's time to go to that. We also had wild dog tracks running in the opposite direction from Cedric, so it seems that yesterday and maybe the early hours of the morning we've passed everywhere, which could possibly mean that the hyena didn't.
Iconic African mammals live large in humanity's imagination. Across the continent, fascinating mammals have evolved to fill every conceivable niche. Their struggles for survival, natural and anthropogenic, mirror those of wildlife the world over. Because they are so beguiling, Africa's mammals have become ambassadors for the Earth's remaining wilderness.
So we are on the road where we were hoping to find those jackals, but we stumbled upon this Ailey instead. Hello, you. Now he's right in the middle of the bush there, so this is the best view that we're going to get, and he looks quite sleepy, chewing very slowly.
Hail to thee, blithe spirit. Bird thou never wert, that from heaven or near it pourest thy full heart in profuse strains of unpremeditated art. Higher still and higher from the earth thou springest, like a cloud of fire the blue deep thou wingest, and singing still dost soar, and soaring ever singest.
Alright, we do apologize for losing a Trishala in Madikwe. I think they just went through a little bit of a bad section there. But yes, we are now back on Djuma here in the Sabi Sands with myself, Cedric, and Gert, and we are still just trying to follow up on this male leopard tracks that we've had this morning coming down on Zoe's road. So I am looking very carefully in this area just to take a look. The morning is still fresh, it's still young. It is always one of the nicest times to try and locate on a predator that is still moving around. They found the Nkuhumas in Arathusa, so we know that the Nkuhuma lion pride is on Arathusa, so we got the updates from them about those tawny cats. Oh, lots of hyena tracks going down here. But I think I might, as I say, I might just head to the southern side just to double check if that male leopard hasn't crossed over into Hoffman's, another property that's south of Djuma. Let's take a look. But oh, it is fresh. Fresh this morning. I think it's one of the coldest mornings for the last week or 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I can feel it. I've got double glove. I've got a double glove on this. A double love glove. Yes, Gina, anything. Tawny or spotted, big or small, square or round. Spotted thickney. We'll look for a spotted thickney. There we go. Thanks. Let's look for a spotted thickney. Let's head this way. All of a sudden all our giraffes have disappeared. And then a week ago we had so many giraffes on Juma all over the show. Now they have moved off. Alright, we're coming on to the service road now, Gary Main, the southern side. I want to see. Yeah. All right, if I caught those comms right, so something DJ Lek say, will a wild dog search for a new area if it's moving the pack? Is that what you're saying? Sorry, go and just go with that question again, please. DJ Lek, yeah, look, I think if they have to move the pack, if they have to move den site, yeah, I'll definitely look out at other areas and all that. If the current den site has been, how can I say, compromised by maybe lions or something like that, then sometimes I'll move den site. But at the moment, no, as I think they're still denning in Ottawa. Because that's exactly, they came this side, went around and went straight back west again. So they're not moving too far east. But yeah, it'll be nice to see those little pups, but only from around about, actually about August, September, we might start seeing the youngsters, the little pups, start moving around with the adults. So I'll say it's still give and take another few weeks, maybe another month, before we really see the entire pack moving around. Then they'll have like a home range, not a set territory anymore, once the pups starts moving with the adults, because apparently the wild dog packs here in the Greater Kruger Park, if you're looking at a home range, the size of their home range, the size of a home range of a pack of wild dogs here can stretch up to about 70,000 hectares. So it is huge. That's how far they can move when they don't have a set territory anymore during denning time. And I'm feeling sorry for them. I'm sure those guys in the west are still trying to locate them, but I'm going to try and get a hold of them just to see if they came right. It would be quite interesting to see if they have come right there. Oh, cokies. I've got to go a little bit back. I've got a female Cokie Franklin on the road. Yes, look, a female Cokie Franklin. So I've got another one for my list. Cokie Franklin.
Are you yearning for a private virtual WildEarth safari adventure with our naturalists and crew? we have got you covered. Sign up to be an explorer before the 15th of August and you could win a private safari experience. Make lifelong wildlife memories with either Steve,
Thank you for joining us and have a fantastic morning.
or Cedric. Wild Earth, it's in your nature.
Logical wonders would be a desolate, lifeless place without miraculous H2O.
So apologies for losing the feed back there. Apparently even our tech is battling a little bit in this cold. But the adventure continues here on Pridelands. BK and myself trying to be as thorough as possible. Kind of scratching around here in the west for any signs of life. It would be lovely to catch up with the local lions. It's one of the only high-profile species we haven't seen in our time here. But yeah, we haven't really even heard them roaring in our section in the last couple of days. I think the presence of those two new males really has stirred things up for the Ngatis and sent those lionesses off in all directions. But yeah, we will continue to check boundaries. Lions do have the habit of walking along fence lines and along the roads, which is quite useful. Yeah, certainly makes locating their tracks, which could begin a tracking mission for us, a little bit easier. But again, not only focused on lions. Our eyes are open to any other forms of life along the way. Always a big priority on safari to sort of keep an open mind. If you come out here with one goal, you're bound to be disappointed. And Nina, so the Ngati Pride is the only territorial pride that kind of occupies our area. But that's not to say that other lions couldn't come wandering through here at any time. That's one of the beautiful things of being part of the greater Kruger ecosystem. It's an area of about 2.2 million hectares. Huge. It's larger than Israel, to put it in perspective. A massive, massive area with probably something like 2.5 to maybe 3,000 lions in that area. So yeah, young male coalitions, occasionally sort of little splinter groups of females could come wandering through here looking for new territory at any stage. You just never know what you're going to get. Thanks. I believe we're getting some luck from you guys there. Some nice birds here on the road. We've got a crested barbet on the left. He's that funny yellow guy. A couple of Cape glossy starlings and a yellow-billed hornbill. All feasting on something there on the road. I would think maybe there's some termites trying to move colonies, or perhaps one of their diggings has been disturbed on the road. These birds are capitalizing on a bit of a bounty. Again, that links into the strategy of sort of keeping a bit of an open mind. If you can take the time to enjoy birds, you will never ever have a dull day in the bush. In the absence of high-profile species, the birds are always present. The shade is not really doing justice to these starlings. They have the most gorgeous iridescent plumage. When they step into the light, their feathers just shine. Yeah, it is an absolute termite bounty there. Cool, well, let's check in with Lauren. I believe she's at the hyena den.
Both Intima and June here are covered in blood. Look at Intima's belly. Oh my goodness. I don't know what she has eaten, but she's huge. Lots of blood around her neck. And June is actually over there lying in the sun with Junebug and also covered in blood. I don't know if they've been following the dogs or if they went hunting, or I really don't know. There's no sign of food at the den, though. There's no carcass here or anything like that. But my goodness, we have some really full hyenas. I don't know if we're gonna get lucky at seeing the little cub this morning if Intima's is full. She's also lying in the shade, which, Intima, don't you want sun? I mean, it's very cold. If you're in the sun, I'm in the sun, and then everyone's happy in teams. Leo, very, very full bellies. My goodness. When we actually first arrived, she was standing up, and she looked like she was in a food coma. She was just standing, staring at us for ages. I don't know what they've had. But wowza, that's exactly what a new mum needs, so a big meal, and that is a huge meal. I don't even know if she'll fit in the entrance. I don't think you're going to fit in there anymore, Tima. Resting and digesting, let it begin. Warming up in the sun. It's going to be a very slow morning at this den side. June's done really well. She's got herself a very nice patch of sun. Tima, not so much. I don't know why you're in the shade. My fingers are still frozen. But June, on the other hand, she's got a nice patch over there. June's belly doesn't look as full, but there's definitely blood on her neck. I saw blood when we first arrived. So she's had something. But it's clearly looking like Tima had it all. And just a recap on yesterday, we tried really hard to get the ears for you, but we just didn't get it live. We just couldn't get it on camera. And Indabele was here. We also didn't get Indabele on camera. So it was nice to see another sort of adult female around the den side. We've had Corky here, we've had Swaz here, we've had Indabele here. No heart, no ribbon. Serena, no. Not at all, not even close. They're just part of the same clan. So, Tima is the daughter of Ribbon. Ribbon is a very interesting female who was very low ranked when we first got to know her. In fact, she was right at the bottom. And quite a miserable hyena, actually. I remember everyone always calling Ribbon quite miserable. And June, on the other hand, completely separate lineage, and her mother was called Scarback. Quite an iconic hyena back in the day. So two very separate lineages. They don't all have to be related. They're just all part of the social unit, which is the Juma clan. So they're definitely not siblings. But although there is a lot of regression, and there is, we've seen it with our own eyes, the clan is still the clan, and they will absolutely still interact and stick together, especially if faced with challenges. I believe it's not actually known who Ribbon's mother is, so it's not known who Intima's grandmother is. And females will often sort of hang out at the communal dens and sleep, chill, relax, greet, interact. Remember, any social unit has to socialize. Otherwise, you're not very social. You might fight over food just like lions, but if you're a social, cohesive unit, then you're going to have to socialize. And Tima, I cannot believe you. But to be honest, she was looking really skinny and very exhausted. Really exhausted when I saw Tima yesterday. And it is good that she's had a good meal. This is going to give her another boost of energy. Help her to produce that really rich milk. Although she looks like a balloon. A hot air balloon. This is a good thing. Because she's just been at the den day in, day out. First time mom.
Do you sometimes imagine what WildEarth would be like without adverts? A chance to properly immerse yourself in nature without any interruptions. Sign up to be an explorer for a small monthly fee and you can truly escape into the wilderness. Ad-free viewing is now available on our app as well as on our website. WildEarth, it's in your nature.
They've just gone behind some bushes now. I'm sure they'll pop out in a moment. Our impalas. So we are now over the airstrip, which we haven't done before. I love investigating little new roads as you get to know a new property. I like to kind of take a new road every day, because sometimes, the main roads to get out or to gain distance are going to be the same. But this particular little road is new for us. So that brings with it a whole lot of potential and excitement. And our first animal that we saw on this road were these impala that are now hiding from us. And then we saw the steenbok. I think that's pretty good. Now both those animals are already on our list, but that's okay. We're going to keep on going and see what else we can find. Hopefully we can add some animals to our list, but we're going to be exploring.
I'm really hoping that Intima gets up at some point to go to the den. These first few days as a new mom. She's had litters before. I just mean the first few days of becoming a mom again. She's very den bound. She'll go to the entrance, call the cub, allow it to suckle, and then she'll come round to the back like this. We're on the back side of the den, and she'll just sleep. It's probably not that comfortable sitting in the entrance like that, especially with a belly that size. And when is the day that Miss Ribbon is going to appear? I figure this is the only way I'm going to get to see her. Last day on the 10th. They've got 10 days to try and figure out where Miss Ribbon is. Definitely didn't get that name, I'm afraid. Good question though. And I guess I can't say it with any certainty. When I left here originally, Corky was taken over. And when I was here in February for that short period, it was believed to still be Corky. But I feel there is a period of change happening. I think the clan is going through a shift. So I honestly can't confirm if Corky is still the matriarch or not. I haven't seen interactions or behaviours. When you see female hyenas together, you can normally tell immediately who are the friendship groups, who's acting submissive to who's acting dominant over who. And especially because I know this clan, I could probably figure it out quite quickly. But I'm just not getting those sightings, I'm afraid. So it's believed to be Corky for the time being, but I could not say that with 100% that she is a matriarch of the clan. Corky's old now. And I am just wondering if she might step down or just allow the next female that tries to challenge for the position, just have it. Sort of what Waffles in the Masai Mara did. Once they get to a certain age is old age in any of us. And it may just benefit Corky to let her girlfriend step up. She'll have to bow down to them, but she'll still be in very good standing. They've got to figure it out, and rather than let someone like Ribbon challenge her again and overthrow her, where she won't be on good footing if it's ribbon. But if she lets someone like possibly Hart or Ndebele or Swaz, who are obviously younger, then puts her in a better position. Although she might not be matriarch, she'll still be in a really good position. Oldie but goodie. Love that name. Sorry, I didn't get that. Oldie but goodie. So great question. I just can't confirm who's at the top. And really, for a communal den, to be honest, we're not really seeing as many of the adult females as I thought we would. Corky has been here, but I thought we would see more of them on a daily basis. So either my timing's off or no one's really hanging around the den. I think I do spend a fair bit of time here though. All thanks to Polly and Mr. Gucci. Allowing us to see this special place. So I've just got 10 days to figure it out. Matriarch wannabe. They're very successful in the Lowveld. Very successful at hunting and scavenging. They do both, but they are successful at scavenging. And I think they've just sort of coexisted and co-evolved alongside the other predators here to know that if you do sit at the bottom of a tree while a leopard's up there with a kill, there's a good chance they're going to drop it. There's a good chance it's going to end up in your jaws. They wouldn't do it if they didn't benefit from it. Yes, they might sit for a while one time and never get any of it. I remember Kalamba's kill in the Jackalberry on Gowrie Cutline. She never dropped it. She never released it, and it hung there for a really long time. But they would only do it if they benefit. I think they are highly intelligent, and they've just figured out that they're going to sleep all day anyway. So why not just sleep under the kill? A bone might just land on your head. And of course, they navigate the lions very well here. They understand that the lions, especially a pride like the Nkuhumas, they're really, really talented and skilled and organized at killing buffalo. The hyenas will know that. And they'll know that the lions get up and leave after a certain point. But vultures are also incredible scavengers. We don't get many jackal in this area, but in Madikwe, where Trishala is, the jackals are very skilled at scavenging. So I'm not sure if hyenas are the most successful scavengers, but in an area like the Lowveld where we are now, they are incredibly successful. They're really good at being hyenas. They're really good at navigating this landscape. But don't be fooled to think that they just scavenge. There's no way a huge hyena like this, who needs to produce milk for her offspring, needs to be aggressive, needs to patrol, needs to interact, is going to survive on the mere scraps from leopards. No way. They absolutely hunt. I mean, Ntima's belly is suggesting to me that she's had something huge. I also don't think that's just the scraps from dogs. I wouldn't be surprised if June and Ntima hunted something together. They're both covered in blood. Sometimes they do manage to get the kill away from the leopard. They do manage to steal, but that's not a given. But they are all round really successful carnivores. Cecile, me too. Me too. And Tima's story's a little bit sad. She hasn't been so lucky at raising a cub to adulthood. And it's not all in Tima's fault, if you think about it. She's obviously had some really unfortunate incidents, especially with Mowati, the male leopard. I mean, who could have even predicted that? And Tima had Ntambu when I was here. And Ntambu was born, I'm pretty sure, 2021. And he went missing. And then, of course, the two that she is believed to have lost to Mowati. So hopefully this time she's lucky.
Those sounds just go straight through you.
Hello everybody, good morning and welcome to a freezing Amakhala Game Reserve down in the Eastern Cape province of South Africa, where we've seen first there another tick for my list, and that is indeed a pied crow. My name is Ralph Kirsten, and on the camera I've got Morgan. Guten Morgen and Guten Morgen to all of you. So, we saw that pied crow, but we're also got a view on some red hartebeest, and there's a lone blesbok with them. And if you look nice and closely, you'll see how they're all fluffed out, trying to keep warm, trapping the air nice and close to their body, because the temperature, it's about 5 degrees, but real feel, I think it's closer to 0. It's incredibly cold. The wind is starting to pick up, and we've had a splattering of rain this morning as well. So we're in the grips of this cold front, and I can tell you the cold is really cold. But anyway, that's not going to stop us. We're out and about, and we'll see what we can find this morning. Obviously, with this kind of temperature and this kind of weather, it does make life difficult for us. A lot of the roads are very wet and difficult for us to go down into the basin with a lot of road closures. But that's not going to stop us. We will continue on looking around in the thickets, going birding, I think is probably our plan of attack. And then we'll see whatever else we can spot in between. Now, yesterday
lazy or a croaking testicular. Now, Lillian, thanks for your well wishes. I've got my gloves on this morning. I didn't forget them, so at least my hands aren't going to be too cold. But other than that, I'm sure we will be fine. We'll keep warm and we'll keep ourselves active. That's the best way. But I don't think this cold front is going to be leaving us anytime soon. It's here for, I think, the rest of the week. So we've got to get used to it. We haven't quite done that just yet. As you can see, the animals, I think, are also feeling it, but they need to continue surviving. So the strategies that they have is obviously to raise that hair, as we do, as all the mammals do, and also just try and keep out of the wind. So we're going to continue on and see what else we can find. I heard some jackals calling earlier, so that's another one that we can maybe tick off our list in the Ranger race. And we'll continue racing on, and we'll race you on over to Trishala.
Oh, I would have loved to add jackals to my list, but unfortunately they didn't make an appearance. But that's fine. We have a whole lot of giraffe. We have about, I guess 5 around here, and we're watching 3 at the moment, having a bit of a go at each other. I'm going to be quiet because you might be able to hear the impact. Oh, that was very gentle. I mean, one definitely has the height and weight advantage here. Oh, it's really difficult to hear. So this is necking, if you are unsure what we're watching. This is a way that giraffes fight. So in order to become dominant, in order to fight for females that are in estrus, they have to be able to have some form of combat. And necking is that. And necking might be the reason that giraffes have these long necks. So I remember when I was in university, access to food at a different feeding level, height-wise, was one of the main theories that were posed for a reason that giraffes have these long necks. And how that will work is not where it gets stretched and stretched and stretched over a lifetime, but rather those giraffes with longer necks had better availability of food. Basically, they could outcompete other browsers because they're taller, so they can reach where the other browsers can't reach. So that was the proposed theory way back then. But since then, more research that has gone into necking specifically. Oh, excuse me. You know, every single time this Game Drive Radio comes on while I'm talking to all of you, I get a little bit of a fright. And I go, oh! Anyway, it appears that necking might have actually driven the length of a giraffe's neck. Because ancient giraffe fossils with significantly shorter necks also showed evidence of necking. So that means that necking was something that was around in the ancestors of giraffes even before a big, large, thick, heavy neck came into play. Now, if you imagine, for example, that you have, say, you have a really hard skull. This is a very simple example, but just bear with me. Say you have a really, really physically thick skull, but your hands are really weak. And you get into a fight for a female in estrus, obviously. You would prefer to headbutt your opponent than hit them with your puny hands, right? And then you and your very strong, thick head manage to reproduce. So your offspring end up with this nice, thick, hard head, and they continue to fight other individuals with that hard head because their heads are hard and the other individuals are not. And so then they win their fights, and then they reproduce. And so they keep producing, or you keep producing offspring or a lineage of offspring that are focused or energetically, biologically focused on producing harder and harder and harder heads, because those harder heads are winning fights and therefore winning access to females in estrus. So similarly, with giraffes and their necks, if they had shorter necks, or like their ancestors did, much shorter necks, and they were fighting and necking in this way, and then those that had slightly longer necks won more fights, they produced offspring with slightly longer necks, and those produced offspring maybe every now and then with a longer neck, and you end up with an animal like this, with a very long neck. So necking, that way of competing for females in estrus, might have been the main driver of this really iconic characteristic of a giraffe. I think we might stick around with these giraffes for a little longer. We'll see. Anyway, let's send you back over to Juma and the Juma clan. It seems like June's little cub is active at the den.
I thought, Junebug, you are literally putting all your weight on Intima. She might explode. It's very dangerous. I thought it was very cute. Junebug was grooming June. Now he's grooming Intima. And I thought, oh, what a nice little cub. And now I realize he's actually licking up the blood. You're getting your first taste for it, little Junebug. But he was jumping on Intima's tummy, and I thought, oh, this is dangerous. I don't think Intima's going to get up anytime soon. We may leave in a little while just to make some space and to keep on adding animals to our list. I can't let any of the boys overtake me. Trishala can, but not the boys. The girls can do this. But you see, June and Intima, they're not related, as we touched on earlier. They're sitting right next to each other. They're not aggressive. June is the higher ranked individual. But they're just relaxing. Letting Junebug do his thing, which is annoy everyone. Junebug. Oh. He just can't sit still. He probably sleeps all night in the day, so really he's awake now. Oh my goodness. We have just found the largest stick yet. I love how June just ignores everything. Ooh. Junebug is always so cute. He's really at that age. They all go through it. And it's just the cutest age for me. And June just completely ignores him. Even when he's jumping up and down on her, she just ignores him. It's really entertaining. I think they've they've killed together this morning. That's what my gut is telling me. They've been busy ladies. Oh, this is the closest you've ever... Oh, tires. This is June about getting ready to explore cars. This is the most confident I've ever seen him. They're just so naturally curious. They want to know about everything. And that's how they learn about their environment, of course. I've also got to plan where we're going to go next. Need to find more species. Oh, so after this, I think we're going to head and try and see if we can add some more species to our list.
Do you love relaxing at a waterhole with the sights and sounds of Africa all around you? Well, we have some really exciting news for you. From August 1st, Africam is joining forces with WildEarth to bring the majesty of Africa right into your living room with 9 incredible new waterhole cameras from across South Africa and Kenya. Get ready to embark on a new journey. This is Live at the Waterhole.
Hey, we have located on this beautiful herd of Cape buffalo. Look at that. We did come to the north. I thought to myself, maybe we should come and try and follow up on those buffaloes from yesterday afternoon. And we have just found them. Very nice, nice big herd. Well, we saw yesterday that was actually quite a big herd, so maybe around about 100, 150 in this herd. Quite a large group. Oh, synchronized turning of heads there. But two beautiful male buffaloes. Look at that muscles on that buffalo that's closest to us. You can just see, especially with the sun, it's hitting just at the side. I actually can really see that perfect lining on those muscles. Good, almost a ton there. But you can see the rest is all still in Buffalo's Hook area. There's still some far in the distance there, but they are coming south towards Djuma. Well, it looks like it. Nah. Well, I thought they are coming in like in a southerly direction. We are on Buffalo's Hook cut line, so we are on the northern boundary of Djuma. And it seems like it's the same herd that we found yesterday afternoon, coming all the way from Baobab Dam. And it looks like they moved all the way east along this boundary road. Now they're directly north of Gari Dam. If they do go, or if they do come south, these buffaloes 10 to 1 will end up heading towards the Gari Dam area, but we shall see. But we only got a few of them on the road at the moment, but they are quite scattered out all over the show. Some on Djuma, some still in Buffalo's Hook, but it looks like general direction, looks like it's going to be south. Yes, come on to Djuma. The grass is greener. And you know what happens when you get buffaloes coming onto the property. What happens then? All of a sudden you'll see your lion activity increases quite a bit. Jesse, yeah, look, it's quite an incline, but it's not heavy. It's not very, very steep at all. Because remember, at the northern Sabi Sands, it's not completely flat, but it's very subtle, kind of rolling areas and all that. It doesn't have these big, heavy inclines and declines. So, yeah, it's not, as you can see there, it's not such a steep road. But yeah, they can if they want to. I mean, I've seen it when I was in the western sector, when they used to go up the banks of the Sand River. They can move up those banks, they can get up those inclines. They're very powerful. Remember, buffaloes are very powerful. Big hooves. Yeah, they are 4x4s of the bush. Pretty much 4x4s of the bush, these animals. You can see two young males busy practicing a little bit of sparring there. Nothing serious. So in these big breeding herds, you'll see quite a few males and females in the calves, and it is really dominated by several different males. Alright, I'm going to go try and get a little bit closer. Maybe I get a yellow-billed oxpecker. But while I do that, let's head over to Ralph in Amakhala to see if he's doing some birding.
Right, everybody. So yes, indeed, we are doing a bit of birding, and we're at Leeuwenbosch Pan. Now, I'm just looking at that. The way this bird flew in looked to me like a dove, but now that I'm looking closely at it with my binos, it's not a dove at all. I thought maybe a Namakwa dove or a red-eyed dove, but Is it a rufous-naped lark? Interesting. And obviously don't forget about that pied crow that we had earlier. So that's one. I'm just going to confirm that one is all fluffed out because it's very cold. It got a really rufous nape or top on him. Nice. Now, where is the other bird that we saw, which was the Cape Longclaw? It's just disappeared off in the grass, I think. Okay, so we're going to get that one nailed. I'll get the exact species. It's just a bit fluffed out, so I wasn't exactly sure. We can hear the Egyptian goose calling on the opposite bank. But I'm still looking for where these... Alright, so you see that it looks like it's grazing. They are herbivorous and they eat grass and vegetation. Where did those Cape Longclaws go? I can still hear them calling. Meow. Lovely that the sun has come out at least. So we're warming up a little bit. But the wind then when it comes through, it just chops that right down. There's that call of the Cape Longclaw. Can't see them now, can you, Morgan? They seem to have disappeared in the grass here. And we also had a marsh terrapin in the water, but we can't call it just yet because he's got to pop his head up out of the water for us to see him. He's probably in the water foraging. And at this time of year, marsh terrapins, they are omnivorous, but I would imagine at this time of year where there being very little... Oh, there's the Cape Longclaw, just on this side. Got it. Cape Longclaw, I think that's a female. There's a male with a very bright yellow breast and a sort of black bib, but I can't see the male, I just see the female. So Cape Longclaw, done. That one's on the list. So is the Egyptian goose, and my thinking is a rufous-naped lark, but we'll have to go back to that one and just double check. There's another one, I think it might be the male. Just moving through the grass of the Cape Longclaw. It's a nice little birding spot. Here, this is where we saw that tiny little bird yesterday, lazy or croaking cisticola, and it's very difficult to tell between them. For me, it's only the call that you can distinguish, and I have heard a lazy cisticola this morning, so I think it's that. There's the male. And Tony, yeah, that's exactly what we thought as well. We'll just go to the waterhole and let the birds come to us. But if you watched yesterday, we sat around at numerous waterholes, and because of this weather being so cold and windy and wet, the waterholes have been surprisingly quiet. Well, surprisingly because the animals haven't been coming down to the water, but not surprising because of the current weather situation and the current conditions. But it seems like this morning with the sun now coming out, maybe we're going to start to see lots more birds at least. Now, where is that terrapin? Show yourself. Just keeps popping his head up. I would not like to be a terrapin today. In that water must be icy cold. There's a dove that's arrived on the opposite bank, but I think it might be a ringneck that we already have. Yep, so that one we don't need to concern ourselves with. And we've got the Cape wagtails here on the shoreline yesterday as well. Where are you, Mr. Terrapin? So, the gangster Egyptian geese, another gang has moved in and taken over the spot. And I think we'll be moving on to see what else we can find. And while we move along, you move along to Lauren.
Thank goodness the hyenas are still here. We do have a very full-looking Swazi over this side on. I don't quite know where that one is yet. I need to figure it out. But Swaz is looking huge. So this is our third or fourth hyena of the day that's looking massive. Some leopard up in the tree. Oh my goodness, I did not even see this. Yes, I can add leopard to my list. I did not even see a leopard. I kid you not. Is that you, Kalamba? It is. I did not even see that. I think it's Kalamba. I don't know who the other hyena is, so help me with that one. Ugh, Owen, give me a fist pump.
Oh, yeah.
Finally got a leopard.
Do you want to look at the hyenas? Really good.
And just at that, my radio's not going to work. Well, I don't see much of a kill. I think it's been possibly dropped. And that's maybe why Swazi looks so full. Oh, it's good to see a leopard. My drought has ended. Stations, we have got Ingwe on Cheetah Cut Line just north of Gowrie, Main. WildEarth on lock, space for 2. Sorry, go again?
Mobile or static?
Static in a tree.
Copy, thank you.
Oh, that was funny. That morning just went from 0 to 100 really, really quickly. Hello, you.
Cedric. Hello. Está with us, Gary. Hello.
Oh, mating! Hyenas mating! Oh, man, quickly, quickly! I've never seen this before. Go on! Oh, oh my god! Oh my goodness, my director is also going crazy. I've never seen this before. I'm not sure if this is Orion, but it's definitely Swaz, and they're mating. I'm going to explain things in a moment, but let's just watch. Calamba's actually watching them. It's really funny. But we just want to stick on the hyenas right now. I have never seen this in all my career. Shreyas, thank you. You think it's Mufambi? So it's Mufambi and Swaz. They're right now in a copulatory lock. They literally cannot separate even if they wanted to. That's what's happening. They've finished mating, but the genitalia is so swollen that they're actually stuck together right now. Even if they wanted to separate, they can. They've got to wait for the swelling to go down. But they have actually finished mating. They have finished the copulation. They just can't separate. Mating right next to a leopard in a tree who's sitting watching them. This is just the most bizarre morning. Donald, it's seeming that way. Oh, they've separated. Wow. I believe we just saw that. That is so rare to get to ever be witnessed. And it's Swaz of all hyenas. Now that they'd finished, I do just want to give you a quick look at Kalamba. She's just watching. Or she was. Hello, my beautiful girl. The question is, where have you been? Not impressed with the hyenas, I see. I think they got some of whatever you were eating. Shreya is definitely the first time I've seen mating. I really can't talk about other naturalists because I kind of come and go from Juma, but I don't believe it's properly been recorded. I think Gigi got it in the Mara. He managed to see hyenas mating, but I don't know if we've ever had a Juma clan mating like that before. Definitely nothing I've ever seen. There's remarkable views as well. Wow. And it's Swazi. A hyena very, very dear to me. So Shreyas, I'm not sure, but I think that's one of the first proper viewings we've ever had. Alan, no, they were definitely not bothered. A typical hyena behavior, just not bothered by much. And Kalamba was just watching them, just also completely unimpressed. She's probably thinking, oh, they're making more. Oh. What a morning. And it's a new species for me. I didn't have leopard on the list. Now I've got leopard on my list. Thank you, Kalamba. Now I know there's lots of speculation about Kalamba right now. I know that. I know she was seen mating. I know you could calculate the date from that. But I really couldn't say if she's A, pregnant, if she's B, got cubs. Was that her mating with Mulwati? If it was, then she's not pregnant. If it wasn't, then she could be. But we really don't know that. Unless we see sort of suckle marks or specific behavior, or she leads you to a den, we just don't know that. So as much as I want to answer all your questions, I can't. I've not seen her enough or had a really good look at her to be able to sort of say if she is pregnant or if she's got cubs. But the one thing that I am a little bit worried about is that she disappeared during that mating bout. So when there was a leopards mating on the dam camp, there was no Klalamba, not even sign of her, not even a track, not even a peep. So unfortunately we didn't solve that mystery. But we'll get there. We always get there, and we will. I can't believe I just saw 2 hyenas mating. Oh my goodness. I can't believe that just happened. Oh, and you're my lucky charm. Ori, okay, you're saying with Jamie, so that's quite some time ago. Must have been pre-2018 with the Juma clan mating. Alrighty, I wasn't sure, but that was definitely my first time. They're wandering off into Torchwood now. Everyone's had a really big meal. It's definitely not common. They're quite secretive about it, and the reason they generally are quite secretive is because of what I explained. Their genitalia swells. It swells in such a manner that they are locked together. So normally, if you think of leopards or lions, they will mate, and then immediately the male pulls out. She normally sort of swats him across the face, but he pulls out and it's over. But what you just witnessed with Swaz and Mufambi there was that they were kind of stuck together. They were finished mating. The act is over, but they couldn't pull apart. They could really injure themselves and damage their genitalia. And it's because of this unique genitalia, the pseudopenis, that happens. This is quite a steep marula. How are you going to get down, Klalamba? Remarkable. Lukaya, I am on a winner this morning. But I think, Owen, let's just reposition so that we can try and follow her. That's if Wendy wants to start. There we go. We are in quite an easy-ish block, but let's just see if we can follow her for now. Yes, it has been a fantastic morning. We've been having really fantastic drives. Okay, no leopards, no predators, but all round really good drives.
Not everyone gets excited to hear a leopard chuff, spot a pangolin, or see a real impala rut. But if you are wild about the wild, you can become part of a community of like-minded nature lovers and share authentic wildlife experiences with the world. Join the Explorers Club and you will also enjoy the many benefits that come with it too. WildEarth Explorers, it's in your nature.
Some males coming onto the road, or one of the females, all males, females, males. Alright, so yeah, they seem like they want to head back north. I was really hoping it was going to come south onto Djuma, but it seems like these buffaloes are not too keen to hang around this side. I think maybe another bigger water source that's just north of us. A young male looking at those beautiful horns on him. Still a young boy, but you can see, look at those horns really stretching up high, and they'll start curling in. A big herd. As I say, I think about 100 to 150 of them in this herd. And most of them are already gone north, but it's nice to see these big herds coming through. You never know, maybe this afternoon they might just hug the northern boundary and then come back on to Djuma again, because it seems like the general direction is heading in an easterly direction.
More elephant madness from Pridelands. We've got to Ndlovu Dam just at the right time with a large breeding herd just arriving for their first morning drink. You can sense the excitement. Oh, cool. My goodness. The very, very big bull here. They all seem to be running towards him. I don't know, maybe they even recognize this guy. He's not attached to this group at about 35 to 40 years of age. He's a massive bull, 6 or 7 tons, but they seem to be keen to say hi to him. Maybe he was a member of this group at some stage. That is very, very cool. They are definitely, going straight up to him. The wind really has picked up here in Pridelands, making things quite challenging. But as ever, the elephants are present and performing. My favorite. I'm happy to look at elephants and almost nothing else all day. Terence, as a general rule, yes. So breeding herds usually number between 15 and about 40 individuals. Bachelor herds maybe 5 to about 10. That's not to say bachelor herds can't be bigger, but to generalize. Very, very nice light on these ones that Bika is framed up on, facing into the sun rising in the east. Nile, definitely. Essentially a baby Ellie shares a lot of similarities with a young human, a human toddler. Play forms a very, very large and important part of their development, physically and socially. So they can be real characters to watch. Lots of youngsters in this group. No tiny calves, but plenty of toddlers, sort of 3, 4, 5, 6-year-olds. Such a serene scene, and again this is all happening about 50 meters from our camp where Bika and I stay. Eco Training Pridelands, and that's the heart of Eco Training's field guiding school here on this concession. Imagine what a wonderful place to train as a guide or a naturalist. Talk about an immersive wildlife experience. The camp is unfenced, so total exposure to the wildlife. Last night we had a hyena calling probably 50 or 60 meters away. You wouldn't believe how loud that is from a tent. But yeah, all part of the magic. It's very, very cool. You and me both, to me, it just doesn't get old. These gusting winds tend to restrict the movements of a lot of other species, but thankfully for the elephants, life goes on. Certainly the prey species, kudu, zebra, wildebeest, that sort of thing, will be trying to hunker down today. But the ellies just crack on with their daily business. There's not much out here that threatens them. Notice how these cows quite skillfully are siphoning the very, very top layer of water off, and that's the stuff they drink. They're notoriously fussy drinkers. They don't want the dirty stuff close to what's settled at the bottom. Occasionally drawing up a bit that's less than ideal, they sort of drop that and go again. And if water is really filthy, they'll use it to sort of splash their bodies to cool down, but they will not drink. This stuff is nice though. Good fresh water at Ndlovu Dam. Cool. Well, as we continue to soak up this Ndlovu Dam elephant scene, let's head back into the Sabi Sands to check in with Lauren and Tlalamba.
Well, she just tried to go for some impala. I think she dropped her meal just before we got there. I think she could still be hungry, and she just tried to go for some impala, but sadly they saw her. And just to give you some context, right now we are at Gwensden. For any of you who know Gwensden and that maybe means something to you, then that's where we are. It's on the very southeastern corner of Gaurimane and Chirakatline. It's an old hyena den. It's definitely not in use anymore, but that's where we are. I know some of you like to know where we are. Otherwise, don't worry about it. What a morning. Always wanted to see hyenas mate. I know that sounds really weird, but I have. Silly me to get so into looking at who the hyenas are that I didn't look up in the tree. Owen and I were both just saying, why didn't we look up in the tree straight away? You've been a bit elusive, Miss Tlalamba. I really hope we get the answers to some of our mysteries soon. I love a good mystery, but I also like to get it solved. So good to see spots. Honestly, I've really missed seeing the leopard. It's been quite a drought on Djuma. But that was always going to come to an end. And of course, Cedric got tortoise pan last night. He got leopard on his list. If you go around, you'll get a view just next to the den. Gabby, I know. It's been such a good drive. From start to finish, even with all the birds, species that we saw. And it's just been wonderful. Now I just need rhino and buffalo from the big five to put on my list. And we've got this afternoon to work with as well. I find Tlalamba a really easy leopard to identify. I don't look at spot pattern, you just look at the face, and I think she's just got a very unique face. And it was funny, I saw a photo of Marib's recently, and it was just someone's photo online, and just the angle and the light and the way it was taken, it looked like Kalamba. They've got a striking resemblance. Different fathers, naturally, but there's a whole lot of their mother in them. Kalamba has just turned into her mother's daughter. Literally. She still knows those impalas are up there. I don't think she got, whatever she hoisted in that marula back there, I don't think she got much of it. And that ties into what we were talking about earlier. That is why hyenas scavenge, because very often it's worth it. Very often the leopards drop the kill. Catherine, thank you. And yes, what a morning. From starting with the ground hornbills on our open area called Quarantine to this, I think this is really quite spectacular. I've really been missing the leopards, but I just knew the tide was going to turn, and you just have to sort of be patient with the bush sometimes, or you really will drive yourself crazy. I've seen it happen to us all. But I think a lot went down last night. Kalamba had a kill. Okay, I think this vehicle behind us is really struggling to get a view, so let me go forward. How's that one?
Perfect.
Perfect, perfect. And the wonderful thing about impala, they do alarm. And my goodness, they do get angry. You'll hear them. Their behavior changes when they see a predator. But they sort of forget, I don't know if forget is the correct word, but they let it go quite quickly. As soon as that imminent threat is eased and they see the leopard walk off, they let it go. And I think this is what Miss Kalamba's barking on here. Banking on, sorry. She's hiding in this drainage line. Until they forget, and maybe she can give it another go. Okay, we're gonna sit with our beautiful queen as long as we can.
Did you know that the WildEarth team makes weekly behind the safari content? Would you like to get to know the WildEarth family better? See how we live.
This is Igor's bedroom.
Learn about our production process. And see the antics that happen off camera. Sign up to be an explorer and you will get access to all this content and more.
unforgettable adventure in the wild? Imagine living with the animals you see on TV while getting an inside look at how a live safari TV show operates. We're thrilled to offer this experience through our 7, 14 and 28-day EcoCam experiences. You'll live in the charming, rustic eco-training camp at Pridelands in the Greater Kruger National Park. Each day, you'll join the broadcast vehicle with a camera operator and naturalist presenter as they broadcast live onto WildEarth, the 24/7 wildlife television channel that reaches 7 million people a month. And the experience doesn't stop there. You'll also get a taste of what it's like to be a safari guide. Eco-training has been training Africa's leading safari guides for over 2 decades. You'll participate in guide training, bushwalks, bush clearing and other activities alongside students in the Eco-Training Safari Guide Group. You'll sleep out in the bush and take turns at guard duty with the guiding students. This is an adventure you'll never forget. Come and join us for the bush experience of a lifetime.
She's still just staring, frozen to the ground. I can't see the impala anymore. But she probably knows exactly where they are. But because there has been a little bit of a leopard drought here, this sighting has went from 0 to 100 and there's a lineup. So we may not be able to stay with her too long. But I think we got the best part. And there's a wonderful documentary that I've mentioned before called Puma, edited by my friends of mine. It's incredible. And it really goes into detail how a predator... Oh, hello, beautiful. How can I concentrate when you're looking at me like that? It really goes into detail about how a predator views the situation. So from our perspective, we very much see it that... I think I might have to move it forward a little bit. Let's reposition one. We very much view it that the leopard is watching the impala. And yes, they are. But there's also a whole other factors to consider. How's that one? She will be listening to every footstep, every vocalization. She'll be considering the direction and the strength of the wind. She'll be considering exactly what she's got for cover. Look, they're right there, Owen. We can see them now. She'll know that she's in a drainage line. She'll know the length of the grass and what trees to hide behind. When she looks at the impala, she's not just looking at the impala. She'll be trying to figure out who's the weakest one. Have any of these impala got a limp? Even just the slightest limp that we actually might not even recognize with our human eye, but she will. Is an impala just walking ever so slightly slowly, which showing that it's weak or possibly ill or sick? Who's separated from the herd? What can she smell? She's not just looking at the impala, she's processing everything from every single one of her sensory apparatus in her brain to get a real understanding of how she can possibly target one of them. Hunting is so far from simple. And that's why many times they get it wrong, because they've got to calculate every little thing. And Tlalamba's at expert level, as we know. But she's not just watching. I don't even know she'll be able to see them from here. She's listening. She's smelling. She knows they can't see her, but she also knows they're suspicious because they saw her earlier. Well, Brian, that's why she utilizes the wind. She'll very much understand the wind. She'll very much understand that she has to be downwind. Impalas do have a good sense of smell, but I'm not so sure they'll be able to smell her. Remember, they saw her. They were alarm calling earlier. They know there's a predator in the area. But just from using my binos, yeah, they're still very alert. They're not alarm calling anymore, but they look very alert. Which means they're not trusting that the predator has gone. So I think from here, possibly, they can't smell her. The wind's got to be in your favour. And it is a real sort of windy, blustery morning. At least it's warmed up a little bit. Okay, I am going to have to pull out now, I'm afraid. But what a morning. And we're going to send you guys over to Ralph doing some birding.
Thank you, Lauren. And wow, that sounds exciting with what's been going on in Djuma. Anyway, back at Amakhala, we've been able to spot what is a black-shouldered kite. There it takes off now. Now just watch it, because these are birds known for hovering. But they're not true hoverers. They need to have a level of wind passing above and below the wings. But they perform this hovering over grasslands, mainly looking for rodents, mice in particular, normally striped field mice and the likes. And as I say, generally having to hover because they survive and live in areas of grassland. So there's normally not any kinds of trees in their typical habitat for them to perch up and then have a good sight to spot the little rodents within the grass. With human habitation and so on stretching into these wilderness areas, we find that the black-shouldered kite now get a bit lazy and they prefer to use the likes of power lines or telephone lines, and they sit on that. In this particular instance here in the thicket biome, it's not their typical habitat, but they will hover and they'll also sit up on a nice high point. I know it is quite far away for us to see it nice and clearly, but they've also got a very distinguishable pink eye. But it's difficult to see from this distance. But nice that it's turned around for us to be able to see it from the front. And you saw from the back very grey, from the front very white, but it's got those black shoulders. That obviously gives it its name. Nice little sighting, and another one for our list. So the birding has been difficult, but we're still ticking them off as we go along. There's quite a few birds flitting about, but difficult obviously to get them on screen because we need them to sit for an amount of time. I'm seeing a few common fiscals around, but we've already got that one. I can hear hardy-dars off in the distance, and it's crazy because I'm normally trying to chase hardy-dars away. They make such a noise, and we can't have less of them. But now, at our moment of need that we want a hardy-dar, we can't spot one. They're teasing me. They're off in the distance, shouting and laughing at me as they go about their day. I'm hoping that this black-shouldered kite actually spots a little mouse moving around in the grass. I might actually see a little hunt. I was also trying to warm up in the sun, which is now just poked through again, through the clouds. It's coming and going. A little bit of warmth here and there. Shame. And all the animals, including us, feeling the cold. So you see, the bird was turned the opposite way. We saw its grey back. Now it's turned to face in the wind because the wind has started to pick up. And obviously when they're facing the other way, it does make it difficult. It picks up their feathers and makes them sort of difficult to stay holding on the branch. So Tammy, probably one of our most common birds, the hardy-dar, we haven't been able to spot on our ranger race. They're eluding us, the hardy-dar ibis. And common birds in this kind of grassy areas interspersed with thickets are the southern ant-eating chats. You can also see there's quite a few termite mounds around. They like to nest inside the aardvark burrows and inside the termite mounds. There's also the pied crows that we hear squawking every now and then. The Cape Longclaw also prefer this kind of habitat. We can actually hear quite a few of them calling now. The common fiscal shrike, which is the Jackie Hangman or the Luxman, very white chest and black and white stripes on the back, and they normally sit on the top of a bush as well. The rufous-naped lark that we saw earlier, just next to the waterhole, are actually quite common and also call from the tops of these bushes. What else? The southern boo-boo is a very common bird, but they like to stick inside the thickets and very often quite difficult to see. Them and the somber green bulls. Two very common calls that you hear, but you don't often get to see them unless you know, around the lodges and so on, where it's nice and quiet and they hop around through the thickets. Actually, you can get quite close to them because they have the comfort of the thicket itself. Oh, there's another black-shouldered kite that's just come in and landed much closer. Maybe we can get to see its eye. It's just over here, Morgan, on this bush on top. So this may be a breeding pair. They are pretty little birds, and in the groups of the kestrels and kites, I think they call them kites because when they hover and the wind's blowing, they do look like those little kites that the kids put up as toys. There he goes, probably going to go join the other one. I think the other one's moved off as well. Off they go into the distance. It's moved into the area where the other one was, flying backwards and forwards. Out on the bush where the other one was, but the other one seems to have left. Falling around in the branches there.
Stay up to date with the latest happenings at WildEarth. Discover what goes on behind the scenes and get a weekly recap of the best moments on the channel.
He's got it! And he's straight up a tree!
Sign up to be an explorer and receive our newsletter written just for you and sent straight to your inbox every week. WildEarth Explorers, a club for people who are passionate about nature.
Thank you for joining us and have a fantastic morning.
Superb. BK miraculously still following this eagle. I don't know how he's doing that. She's high off the ground, probably 1,000 foot, and absolutely moving in all directions in this gusting wind. Not this man's first rodeo. He knows what he's doing. Yeah, great way to tell the difference between male and female battaliers is by the color of the wings that you get such a good look at as they fly over. Majority white underneath means it's a female. If it's about half black, half white, it's a male. So a mature female battalier. Cool. We haven't been seeing so many raptors lately. So, yeah, nice to get footage of one. She's a scavenger, so she's off looking for any signs of carcasses. It doesn't look like she's found anything in our area.
We've got a long-billed cromback here. What is that? Is it a cromback? No. Oh, nice. A long-billed cromback. Another bird for my list. Look, as you can see, no tail. And they are so small, but they're so quick to keep up with that. I think Gert is doing an immaculate job. It's such a tough little bird. Looking for little worms, caterpillars that's sitting on these leaves. Long-billed cromback. They've got a beautiful noise. They call this treat to treat to treat to treat to treat to treat. Always remember that. That's their call. Look how quick it is, fluttering around us. We also had a green-capped Aramomela just now, but unfortunately we could not get that on the screen. It was just too quick and too small. But look at that, it's looking for all little caterpillars around there, seeing if it's going to grab something. Oh, it's got something. There we go. Oh, it's digging out something from that branch. Those are long little thin beaks. That's why they call it a long-billed cromback. Oh, it's going into the center of that black monkey thorn. Oh. It's gone. I had a nice little bird party going here, but it looks like now most of them have decided to fly off. Look here. Oh, there's a fork-tailed dronga. I haven't got a fork-tailed dronga. There's a fork-tailed dronga. I haven't got one on my list. Can you believe it? Dee-dee-dee-oo. Another bird to my list, or another animal. Fork-tailed drongo. Yay. And then there's a little chin spot batis. Right there, at the tip of it. Yeah, there you go, chin spot. Oh, they just flew up. A chin spot batis. Yeah, no, but you did, but you got it. It was in screen. It went past the screen. Well done on that. A chin spot batis. And they also got a beautiful call. 3 blind mice. Oh, there's a whole lot of birds in this little tree and this bush willow. I'm trying to maneuver my way around here. I think those are for the cam-ups to really keep these little birds in screen. It's quite tough, but it's quite challenging. But as I said, Gert was doing absolutely an amazing job. It's gone. keeping an eye, see what else we can see around these trees. As I said, there was quite a bird party happening here at the back of Gary Dam Hall. I hear a woodpecker somewhere.
Chatting around a fire is an ancient practice that has connected humanity for centuries, and we want to keep it alive in our modern age. As an explorer, you'll have access to intimate gatherings with our naturalists, fascinating guests, and experts where we share knowledge, insights, and stories around a crackling fire. Rediscover the power of connection. Sign up to be an explorer today and experience the magic of WildEarth's Fireside Chats.
Fight or flight. Alright, well that's true. We nailed a few birds here now, eh? That was fun and nice. Got to go maybe 3 or 4 different species here at the back of this dam hall. You can actually sit here at the back, and that's what sometimes with birding, I believe. You sit at places like this now and you can hear, and you just sit patiently and you listen out and you can hear them calling. And you just hear them calling all over the show. And that's when it's exactly the good old bird party happening. Oh, we've got a yellow fronted canaries that's flying by. No, they're gone. Yeah, they're like, meow. Oh, this is all. Cesticular that's sitting on there. A little rattling cesticular.
Was one.
There was one. Maybe there's another one that's going to sit there. No, that's a yellow-fronted canary. Beautiful.
So BK and myself back now at Ndlovu Dam, quite close to our camp here at Pridelands, the eco-training setup. Not a whole lot going on, but it has been an action-packed morning. When you consider all the different sightings we've managed to see on all the different properties, Not too shabby, I say. BK spotted an ellie way off in the distance there. So there is still lots of life around the dam. But take a look at how those trees are swaying in the breeze. Certainly a big cold front blowing in. I'm sure it's going to make landfall in Djuma and Pridelands through the middle of the day. Yeah, the wind's gusting at the moment at about 20 knots, so that is pretty strong. But yeah, this too shall pass. Nothing lasts forever. And the slightly challenging days seem to make it even sweeter when conditions are beautiful and sightings are around every corner. Important to take it all in stride. Great, Samantha. Thanks very much for jumping on board this morning. I hope wherever you are, you're nice and warm, having hopefully a hot cup of coffee in front of the TV. In the next minute or so, BK and myself will be saying goodbye for the morning. What a pleasure it has been to come to you live on safari today. And yeah, be sure to tune in a little bit later. The sunset safari will be going ahead as scheduled, as always. And BK and I will be here ready to hopefully show you a little bit more cool stuff. But yeah, from the greater WildEarth team, everybody behind the scenes, all of our naturalists, all of our cam-ops, thank you very much. Have a wonderful day. And we'll see you later on.